Woof, Diogenes here, again with my Saturday story. Boy, oh boy, wish me luck. This is going to be a pretty big subject, and I have a lot to say about it. And it may make a lot of waves, and more than likely, the very people that really need to hear it most probably won't hear it. It's just how modern men are, unfortunately. So, today, bear with me as I, the great modern American cynic, discuss the fall and failure of modern masculinity. Oh boy. So I'm going to start off with a quote, and then I'll give the subtopics that I'm going to discuss as we go along. And we'll start off with real power comes not from conquering others, but from conquering your own limitations and inspiring change in the heart of others. And the best I knowledge, that's an anonymous quote, so I'm not taking credit for this, but I'm sure at some point we've heard it. And to me, that this is at the heart of something that's lost in modern masculinity. Is we're so focused on conquering others and conquering social media and chasing this and chasing that, that there's so much pressure on these young men. And we really have a very big problem of young men. In the Western world, it's some of the highest rates there is. It's astounding. So that's why I'm going to give my reflection upon this subject. Just my opinions. So that quote to me signifies what true strength is and part of what is lost. So here are the subtopics that I'm going to go through. And we're going to start with strength. And then I'm going to talk substance, ego, and then protect it and provide. And then I'll finish in conclusion, and we'll mention some people along the way. And in my opinion, how they've altered modern men in a negative fashion. So strength comes from within, and not from what you force out on others. Anybody can force on others. That doesn't take any strength at all. Anybody can be loud. Anybody can be your rabid dog. Anybody can be out of balance. Anybody can be trying to prostrate and whore themselves, for whatever on social media. And that type of strength is really kind of led to this loneliness and bitterness and just checking out, staying home, playing your games, losing the ability to actually socialize, and so many playing the victim, blaming society, anything else but the time to actually reflect upon what actual strength is and how that can actually lead you to success. By learning how to conquer yourself and develop yourself as a man, and not just Hulk smash. Oh gosh, I'm a strong man, but why does nobody like me? There's more than one dynamic to masculinity and just being ugh, caveman, Hulk smash. And I've done some pretty strong feats in my days, from endurance to mountain climbing, and I've done all that stuff as a man in my younger days. I was really strong and lean. But that doesn't get you very far. You got to have more than that, or you're going to be an empty vessel. And anything that you attract will become empty by default if you're not willing to accept and look in and learn how to conquer yourself, and then use that strength to lift others up. And not just look up to these other people. These fake strong men like Andrew Tate, who's just a charlatan and a horrible human being. That's not real masculinity. That's weakness. That's abuse. That's criminal in many ways. He was in prison. But we look up to these dumb blockheads like that, and while it's okay to be a knucklehead at times, holy cow, man. We live in a time that you can use anyone to mentor from. Pick some real strength from anybody throughout history that was not such a dubious individual. It doesn't have to be a modern person. If you have an imagination and you develop your brain, you can generally get mentorship and advice. You just got to read. Not just these podcasts of other people giving their opinions about these subjects. Seek these subjects yourself. Conquer yourself before you really have the right to conquer anything else. You got to look into the darkest parts of your soul and be comfortable with that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to succeed in this world, in my opinion. So that's a little bit about strength and how we're confusing it and misusing it. I've given some examples. And talk about seeking balance. This is what the way out the dog is all about. Within, without. Focus, strength, mind, body. It's not just a matter of how you got to be able to have this up here function, because this will outlast your body, fellas. And if you haven't developed not just intelligence of what smart is, but you got to find out what you want to develop. Find something you're interested in. Develop yourself. And it's through developing your mind and body that then you can become strong. But you got to use that strength to help others and be a leader in your community. Help lift others up. Teach others the ways. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and look like a fool. Have you seen humanity out there on the internet lately? That's why I finally got over myself. I wanted to just live my quiet life and just kind of fade into nothingness. But 2025 came along, and I was just like, nah, I gotta speak my mind. And I tell you what, it's bringing me great peace. So even if I only reach 1 out of 100 of you, I hope you keep listening, because I do have a lot of interesting life advice if you are willing to put the self away and actually listen from a different, unique opinion of someone with a lot of life experience. So that's strength. Now, what is substance as a man? I leaned into this a little bit. What is substance? And it's not just how much money you make. What do you do for your job? Where did you get your degree? Where did you go golfing? Blah, blah, blah. Or what beer do you drink? Who won the NASCAR race? Not that those things aren't okay, but what is a man of substance? What can you offer as a man in this world is being confused. We've got so many people that are lacking substance, and it's a subsidiary effect of social media. And we just have the attention span of fleas now. And that's why I'm running this social experiment here. To see exactly if it's possible to have organic, raw content that doesn't tingle the little dopamine and serotonin triggers inside everybody's brain. Scroll. I get it. I do it too. But I'm trying to put some balance into the world and see if it's even possible. Me and my assistant are pretty pessimistic about the likelihood of it succeeding. And here I am, barking into the wind. So, substance, you got to become a man of substance. And sorry, I'm looking down. I don't read very well. I was only born with one good eye. Pardon me. Athens. Judge me as you wish. Social media. I am unafraid. So, substance is, you need to read more. Read more, for the love of... And we live in a time where you don't even have to actually read and hold the books. You can audio book, not just podcast of someone else's of opinions, telling you what they think of those books. read it yourself or listen to the audiobook yourself. But I still always recommend reading because I'm very old. And that way I love the smell of a book and going to the library. And I've spent a lot of time in the libraries in my life. It's quiet and peaceful. And people are too peoply. So always a lifelong pursuit of developing and reading and learning. It has nothing to do with wokeness, fellas. That's just code word to make you not think for yourself, not question things, not be critical, not be a cynic. Just to keep your head down, go to line, listen to what they tell you. You have to do the boring stuff in life if you want to have strength and have substance. On to the next one. Ego. Oh boy, I'm going to try to sum it up here. We're getting along. Egos are our biggest enemy as men. Often we get lost in our own little kingdoms in the modern world. And, the misinterpretation of Stoicism is really, 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 really ruining a lot of young men. It's not being taken as how it was meant to be. It's not about shutting off your emotions and just blindly suffering like I don't have a good word here for once, but it's not about just blocking your emotions and being numb. It's about learning to embrace your emotions, accept your emotions. You conquer them by letting them flow through you, not stopping them, but understanding them. And you're setting yourself up for just absolute failure, bitterness, narcissism, and loneliness if you keep following and misusing these Stoic advice. It's not about no emotion at all. That's not what it's about. It's about developing your emotional intelligence to the point where you're not emotional, but you have empathy and understanding. That's strength. Okay, sorry, I'm getting very but that really gets me. It's one thing that gets me is how much of a victim we are to our own egos and self in this modern, social media influencer world. Now, big one here. I'm going to try to get through this before the 15-minute mark, because our brains say they only remember stuff for 15 minutes. So, I'm going to cover this together. Fellas, masculinity. The biggest part of how it's failing is we're not willing to adapt on what it means for protect and provide. It does not mean what you think it means or what you have been told it means. And for the love of everything in this universe, if you don't hear anything else I say, please hear this, men. Please. I hope this goes to everyone and people quote it and it helps change the world. Protect, provide. It is not just protect, caveman, smash. It is not just provide, go to work, give money. This is not going to give you a woman of substance, a woman of high quality, a woman that's going to love you if you do not heed what the modern meaning of protect and provide is. It is not caveman, smash, smash, secure. It is not just give money, go work, be good man. Now, eyes. Sorry, again. It's protecting is partly giving safety, but it's also having a high degree of emotional intelligence as a man to understand whoever your partner is. It's interest, showing interest and actually caring about your partner, paying attention, not just being automaton, going through the work, going through the motions. Understanding. Now that means trying to understand what they need, what they like, who they are as a human being, which goes back to emotional intelligence, So less ego, more equal. I know that's a hard one to hear, fellas, or anybody. Less ego, more equal. Now, that's for protect. Provide. You provide a loving, nurturing environment. You be a better person and a leader, but not a dick. Confidence, not arrogance. Okay, though, I'm going to, in summary here, I'd like to highlight, in my opinion, how the misinterpretation of Ayn Rand has been used to really lead to this self-centered, not a good ethical, moral young men. These Ayn Rand skeptics are basically, escapist, and weak, and borderline absurdist, and this creating this bitterness and loneliness and narcissism in our young men. And it makes me sad. And you need to read other books and find other mentors. As far as rich people go, I like Warren Buffett. He's almost as humble or normal as it gets for a billionaire, in my opinion. But you can think of what you want, but I like him over all the other ones, if I had to pick one. We got to do better than just blindly following men like Joe Rogan, okay? He's lovable. He's an innocent caveman, and he can be funny at times, but his fact-checking is horrible. So that influencer culture, pick better influencers, pick better mentors. What it means all to me to be strong is looking within yourself, conquering yourself, sharing your stories, not being afraid, being confident, not being a dick. You find balance in all things. Develop your emotional intelligence. Try to go out into the community and be an example. For the love of, read more books. But mostly, don't just sit in your own kingdoms and lost blaming society, men. It is not society. It's you. You've chosen poorly and who you follow. Go outside the rabbit hole. Go outside the box. I'm just here with my torch, wandering the streets of Athens, looking for honest and decent human beings. This has been the fall and failure of modern masculinity with Diogenes the dog, the great modern American cynic. Woof. Diogenes out.